Hi, welcome to Low-Carb Me'n'u. I'm Alexander, and today we're going to make creamy broccoli soup. A good soup is more than just water with some vegetables. It's flavorful, has an interesting texture, and looks appealing. This broccoli soup has all of those, and it can serve as a filling lunch or even a dinner dish. So let's dig in. As always, let's start with our ingredient list. We need a good amount of broccoli, some bacon, blue cheese, which is optional or replaceable by goat cheese, a splash of lemon juice, heavy cream or whipping cream, water, a vegetable stock cube, some coconut oil, salt, and pepper. There's not a lot of prep for this soup, so it's perfect for those days where you're short on time or just don't feel like spending a lot of time in the kitchen. The only cutting you have to do is on the broccoli. We're going to use as much of the broccoli as possible, not just the florets. The stem of the broccoli is often discarded, but it's just as good to use, and you wouldn't know at the end that it's in. Remove the florets from the stem and set them aside. We're going to remove the bark as that's a bit dry and tangy. You can just cut it off with a paring knife or use a thin slicer. Once all cleaned up, all we need to do is turn all of it into manageable pieces. Have at it with a big knife and chop it all up. No need to be precise, as they'll end up being blended anyway. Smaller pieces lower the cook time and make it easier to stir and blend. At the end, you have a nice pile of chopped broccoli. Set it aside for now, and keep as much as you can, including all those tiny droplets that fell off during chopping. We're going to start off the cooking process with the bacon. Put it in a cold pan and then put it on medium heat. We're looking to get slightly crispy bacon that has nicely rendered down and has a beautiful brown color. The bacon pairs well with both the blue cheese and the broccoli. It adds a bit of salty flavor and a great texture. We only add a little bit, as it can overpower the broccoli. The same goes for the blue cheese. A small hint of the flavor goes a long way. Too much, and you won't taste the broccoli anymore. When the bacon is done, remove it from the pan using a slotted spoon. We want to keep as much of the rendered fat as possible for the next step. Set the bacon aside. To make the soup, we'll need a pot big enough to hold at least 1.5 liters. You may want to use a bigger one, as that'll make it easier to saute the broccoli or use an immersion blender. Add the bacon fat to the pot. Don't worry about any bacon residue, just add it all. This will provide a bit of extra flavor. Add the coconut oil and let it melt. Then add all of the broccoli and saute it for 5 minutes on high heat. We want a bit of caramelization on the broccoli. This will elevate the flavor some more. When the broccoli is starting to get a bit softer, you can add the salt and pepper. Stir it through and keep that caramelization going. Depending on how much time you want to spend on this step, you can keep going until you're happy with how light or dark the broccoli is. More caramelization means a more intense earthy flavor. Less gives you more of the natural broccoli flavor. Then add in the water, cream, and lemon juice. The lemon juice will help balance the richness of the soup and provide just a bit of contrast to the intensity of the blue cheese. Crumble the stock cube and stir to dissolve. The amount of liquid is just shy of covering all of the broccoli. Cover the pot with a lid and bring to a boil. When it's boiling, turn it down to a bare simmer and let it go for 7 minutes. If you went for a deep dark caramelization, you can probably reduce the cooking time, as the broccoli will be cooked more already. We only need the broccoli cooked through. It doesn't have to be a mush. Once cooked, we're almost there. The final step is to process the soup. You can use a regular blender or immersion blender, whatever you have available. Be careful not to overfill the blender. You can do this in batches. Similar warning for the immersion blender. Careful, it's hot. When it's all smooth, it's ready to serve. Just pour or ladle it into a bowl. If you like, you can add an additional splash of cream. Then sprinkle the crispy bacon on top. And finally, crumble the blue cheese over it. The soup can be stored up to a week in the refrigerator. This makes it perfect for meal prepping and taking to work for a nice warm lunch. This recipe makes 4 servings of broccoli soup. Per serving, it contains 8.5 grams of carbs, 13 grams of protein, 41 grams of fat, and about 463 calories. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Stay cooking, stay low carb, and let your taste buds dance with delight.